We live in complex times when the whole world has become interconnected. There are no such things anymore as faraway places and distant events. I'm Eric Margulies. My job is to take you behind the lines across the globe, to look deep into the world and understand our place in it through the eyes of a veteran correspondent and historian. As I research my latest book, I'm bringing a TV crew with me to share with you some of the mysteries, adventures, and wonders of our worlds. The side you don't often see, the other side. This time, we're in South Korea, a fascinating nation of 44 million that is considered one of the world's most strategic places. In Korea, danger, ancient culture, and high-tech wizardry are inextricably linked. The capital, Seoul, has 11 million residents. It pulsates with vitality and power, even though it is within range of North Korea's artillery, rockets, and nuclear weapons. I've been coming here for 36 years and have seen South Korea's near miraculous transformation from a shattered agrarian nation that suffered millions of dead and saw its cities razed in the 1950s Korea War into today's high-tech Asian tiger. In the 1950s, South Korea was even poorer than many African nations. Today, South Korea is the world's 11th industrial power, highly literate, well-educated, clean, and organized. How does dynamic South Korea manage to thrive under the daily threat from belligerent North Korea? And how has South Korea managed to harmonize its traditional Confucian culture with the demands of a high-tech society? People think of the Korean War, if they think of Korea at all, or they may think of automobiles or steel, and that's about it. There's been very little publicity given to Korea. Nobody's really explained the story of Korea. It's emerging very quickly. Its industry is booming. It's, as I keep saying, this is Japan 20 years ago. Its rockets are firing at full force. It's soaring up. The country's fizzing with activity and energy and optimism. And it is playing a very important role in Asia. South Korea is a primary driver of Asia's economic rise, a manufacturing and technology powerhouse, but one that is increasingly squeezed between rivals China and Japan. And there's a very large Korean diaspora and a very hard-working people. In fact, the Koreans are probably among the world's hardest working people, and they're teaching some of us to work harder. Korea's unique culture draws strength from a homogeneous ethnic group and its two main religions, traditional Buddhism and imported Christianity. Koreans have a 1,000-year respect for learning. The Korean diaspora has brought Koreans to the four corners of the globe. Outside influences are readily absorbed by Koreans and continue to shape modern cosmopolitan South Korea. It's unfortunate because Korea's image is an image of the past. We're not seeing the modern, hip, high-tech Korea at all. My mother and I, we were the first people on my block in New York City to have a television set. And this was a big deal, and the neighbors used to come over and watch it. And now, within one generation, or at least in my lifetime, we're down to razor-thin TVs. This is absolutely fabulous.
Here, this is a share the button, sharing. And
I've been very impressed by the South Korean skill in planning and organization. and their ability to adapt their thinking to changing demands without losing their sense of direction or who they are.
We can just send it right away based on Wi-Fi wireless connection.
One shopkeeper told me his country had changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 500. How did he know? He said his ancestors had told him.
Throughout the early 60s, the country really struggled to sort of pull itself up from third world status, and there was a great deal of cooperation between the companies and the government in order to build up a manufacturing culture. And that was the idea. The idea was the country can lift itself up, can bootstrap itself through manufacturing and export. And Hyundai was really at the center of that.
The leadership of Korea was always very, very good, I think. I mean, there were different presidents and different leadership and so on, but they all advanced the country. And they were, in general, very unselfish and very focused on their mission, very dedicated.
I haven't been here in Seoul in about 10 years. And, what is really awed me here is the growth in the size of the city. It looks like, to me, like it's doubled in size. I know it's 10 million people, maybe 11 million, but there are whole new areas of the city that have gone up. Buildings of beautiful architecture, very stunning, imposing, almost like an imperial capital. But what does all this change do to the very fabric of a people? How do you balance ancient wisdom with modern thought? How can you reconcile traditional beliefs with contemporary choices? As Korea continues to hurtle towards tomorrow, it still must pay heed to the past. As South Koreans seek to define their role in the 21st century, the ghosts of the previous ones still loom large over the Korean peninsula. The South will determine its own fate, but the North and the influence of its neighbors cannot be ignored.